Hey everybody, sorry we're getting late here, but Foley's here for the weekly news recap for the 23rd to the 29th of January 2023. So let's get into it. So first up, Xbox had a developer direct this week. I think it was on Wednesday. Anyway, so they showed off only 5 games from Bethesda and ZeniMax. So first up, Mojang as well. So first up was Minecraft Legends. It is mostly just reminding you that the game exists. It is a PvPvE tactics game set in the Minecraft universe, I guess, or the Minecraft skin. So think things like StarCraft, that kind of thing, but Minecraft, basically. Forza Motorsport also is the thing. It's coming soon. Enjoy driving cars, I guess. Forza Motorsport is the sim version of their racing series. Forza Horizon is the more arcadey one. So Motorsport is a bit closer to something like Gran Turismo. Hey Banana, how's it going? Okay, Hi-Fi Rush. Okay, one I'm actually interested in. So Hi-Fi Rush is the next thing from Tango Gameworks, who you may know from The Evil Within, and The Evil Within 2, and not The Evil Within 3, because this is a very almost Saturday morning cartoon game that they have here. So Hi-Fi Rush is a rhythm-based brawler type game, so something like Beautiful Joe or Okami, because I'm pretty sure it's former Clover developers who were working on this as well, who went to work with Kamiya in Tango Gameworks. So yeah, you attack on the rhythm, as you can see. There is a rhythm helper. You can see that the UI all pulses to the beat of the music. If you manage to attack on the beat, you get a bonus. If you don't, you'll still do damage, but you won't get like bonuses and stuff like that. So that's the deal with the game. And big shock and surprise, it is released already. It came out the same day it was announced, so very cool. It is unfortunately exclusive to Xbox and Xbox Game Pass affiliated platforms, which means PC and Xbox, pretty much. For now, at least. Maybe they'll try. Oh, I didn't know it was a rhythm game. It's kind of a rhythm game. Like, it does reward you for attacking on the rhythm and the whole kind of deal of the hi-fi-ness. Maybe the kids don't know what hi-fi is anymore. Hi-fi, or high-fidelity music, it was the next level up from vinyl and 8-tracks. Then it became hi-fi. And anyway, that's the deal with it. Looks like it'll be pretty cool. So PC will probably be where I'll play it. Steam Deck, if I can figure out how to get it to work. After that, they had a little bit of... Actually, we'll skip ahead because they actually went with the Elder Scrolls Online Necrom first. Elder Scrolls Online Necrom is the latest expansion pass episode, what have you, for the Elder Scrolls Online. If you're into those MMOs, chances are you already knew this was coming, or you're playing Final Fantasy XIV and don't care. Either way, it's there. Necrom is based on Morrowind, which has not been seen in the Elder Scrolls since the game Morrowind, which is almost as old as I am, quite some time ago. Redfall is the next one that I am kind of sort of interested in. I'm kind of thinking about getting interested in it, because I'm not sure. So this has been billed as Left 4 Dead, but vampires. And this presentation was meant to sort of dissuade you from that notion, in that it was meant to be, no, think of it more like cooperative Prey, or cooperative Dishonored, or something like that, but also vampires. And that's supposed to be the deal. In that you can play the whole thing completely solo, and it effectively plays like a big, like Prey with a big map, or Dishonored with a big map, or something like that. That's a kind of the way that they want you to look at it. It still looks like Left 4 Dead, but vampires to me, but okay. I guess the idea is you don't have to have 3 other buddies to help you out. It seems like it's a fairly strong mix of the Ubisoft open world idea, which is... different parts of the map have different activities that you can take part in, like destroy a nest, or collect a bunch of items, or deal with a big boss enemy, or that kind of thing. I'm still on the fence about it. I'm still not sure if I actually want to play it or not. Yeah. I think there's something that's kind of annoyed me, and it sort of annoyed me about Back 4 Blood as well, which was also a Left 4 Dead thing, only that very much was Left 4 Dead 3, pretty much. Characters and classes are connected, and I don't like that. I am of the belief that you have your character and you have your class, and you can mix and match. You know, your character and class don't have to be all one and the same, which is kind of feel like it hampers, like, there's plenty of characters there that look interesting, but I don't like their class, or I like their class, but I don't like the character, and that kind of thing. It's, if you could mix and match them, I'd feel a lot bit better about it. I think we'll have to wait and see what the actual gameplay is like before at least I can give my final verdict on it. My final verdict, as if my fucking verdict counts for anything. Anyway, that was the developer direct thing. So some updates. So Stray Lights was revealed. This is coming from Embers. Thank you, trailer. Help me out there. Soundtrack by Austin Wintory. Again, this is the other thing I was going to bring up, who did the soundtrack for Journey. So Stray Lights looks like it is action brawler Ikaruga. So if you're not familiar with Ikaruga, Ikaruga is a shmup, like the very old shmup bullet hell type games, where you're a spaceship, you fight lots of other spaceships, it's very, very hard, and the main concept behind Ikaruga is that you changed colors, and that you had to match, or you had to either be the opposing color to do damage, and you had to be the same color to avoid taking damage. And this is kind of the deal that they're going for in this game. It's been done in a couple of other ones. I think it's called Shattered or Splintered or something like that, is another side-scrolling one that did it. Castlevania Lords of Shadow had an Ikaruga system as well, but that's kind of the deal, is that you want to be constantly changing color to kind of deal with whatever the situation is. So it looks interesting to me. But anyway, that's Stray Lights, only revealed. I don't think there's a release date or anything like that. Spring, apparently. Soon. That's actually kind of soon. Epic Games. So the free Epic Games this week. First one is Adios. Adios is a, as it says here, a cinematic first-person game about sticking to a complicated decision. The idea is you are a pig farmer who occasionally does jobs for the mob, and I'm sure you can probably figure out what jobs a pig farmer would do for the mob. And you've decided, you know, I don't want to do this anymore. And Hitman, who is also a good friend of yours, shows up with another body, and you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. And he's like, well, I mean, that's okay, but I'm gonna have to kill you, right? And like, this is the last couple of hours of the two of you together, which is pretty much your last day kind of thing, and then he's going to kill you eventually, sort of thing. Anyway, that's Adios. It's really good. It's really, really good. And then the second one is Hell is Others. Hell is Others is a PvPvE isometric shooter type thing set in a kind of Eldritch Lovecraft thing where the world has been invaded by, you know, cosmic horrors from beyond the stars kind of thing. So the kind of deal is you have your base and you go out to collect loot and make your character a bit stronger and so on. You will come across other players in the environment who will be trying to do the same thing and trying to kill you as well, because you might have good loot and that kind of deal. So it depends how much you actually like PvP, I guess, whether or not you'll like that game too much. That's it for games coming soon. But what about games you can play right now? Well, as mentioned, Hi-Fi Rush is out. As it was announced the same day. This is literally the exact same trailer. It's very funny. It's very tongue-in-cheek, and the presentation itself goes into a lot more of what the gameplay is actually like, but as I said, it is effectively a rhythm action brawler type deal. After that, though, we have the Dead Space remake. Was released on Friday. On the channel, we have been playing through the original Dead Space to get ready for it, so if you want to catch up to speed, not that you really need to, since it's a remake, it's the exact same story again, you can do that. Find it over on the Archive channel. But the idea is Isaac Clarke and his team, or rather the team that he's a part of, he doesn't lead the team. Anyway, stress call for USD Ishimura, they go off to see what the fuck's going on. All sorts of fucking shit has been happening on the Ishimura. And now you're stuck there, and you gotta sort of try to find your girlfriend, fiance, wife, person. It's never really clear. while shit is going fucked, basically. Just trying to figure out what's happening. Anyway, it's really good. The original is anyway. I have not played the remake, but from what I've seen from just playthroughs and gameplay from the developers and trailers, and also critical reviews and stuff like that, it's like, yep, that was really good. They did a good job, so I'm looking forward to that. The remake looks good. It does. It looks amazing. And Dead Space still looks good. Even the original Dead Space still looks good. But that's incredible looking. Anyway, after that, of course, is Forspoken, which has been getting mixed reviews. A lot of it, though, is attributed to the not particularly great acting and sort of the dialogue that is put into the game. We will be looking at this next week. We're going to check this out on Wednesday and see if any of that is true. I have a feeling it obviously is, but whatever, we'll figure it out. Forspoken is kind of... I want to say it's like Infamous, but that's a pretty old game, and I'm not sure too many people remember it. So it's third-person action-adventure thing where you have magic powers. Most of your magic powers are projectile-based, so effectively you have a gun. It's a third-person shooter, but magic. There's a big emphasis on a very large map. It is unfortunately, from the looks of things, an Ubisoft-style map, which means not a whole lot of interesting things in between the little icons that are all over the place. Unlike something like, say, Breath of the Wild or Elden Ring, where there seems to be something interesting everywhere on those maps. Anyway, we'll figure out more of it on Wednesday. Now, though, it is unfortunately time to talk about the worst parts of video games, the video game industry. So, first up, perennial weekly news recap bad guy, Activision Blizzard King. Blizzard's workplace ranking for employees sounds like hell, so this is news that a high-ranking Blizzard manager said, I am fucking done with our employee ranking system. Like, I'm leaving until that's fixed, basically. And if it's never fixed, I'm never coming back, kind of thing. So Blizzard manager departs in protest of employee ranking system. So to kind of give you an idea of how it works, it's called stack ranking. It was in favor in the tech industry 15 years ago-ish, something like that, in and around the dot-com bubble, more or less. Oh, no, that's way older than that, Derek. That's like 20, 25 years. Anyway, so stack ranking, the idea is every employee is given a rank. Either, it's like, I think they changed the wording depending on the company, but it's like stable, you're doing fine, you know, you're working within whatever your means. Excelling, you're going above and beyond, you're great for the company. Maybe not for your work-life balance, but you're great for the company. And then developing is like, you're shit, we're going to fire you soon, kind of thing. And basically, it was determined by most companies that it was dumb. It was a dumb way to rank people because it incentivizes things we don't want them to do. It incentivizes people to do things like, okay, so the policy encourages competition between employees, sabotage of one another's work, a desire for people to find low-performing teams so that they'll be the big fish, and ultimately erodes trust and destroys creativity. So that was determined long ago by many tech companies that this was a stupid idea. But not Activision Blizzard King, it seems. They're keeping it. And to make it even worse, they are insisting it be done on a bell curve. So they have married two terrible ideas for ranking people into one super awful way to rank people. So stack ranking and a bell curve. A bell curve basically means there has to be a certain percentage of underperforming people. No matter how good they're doing, there has to be underperforming people for it to fit a bell curve. A bell curve meaning low, middle, and then the other end is high, right? As in most people would be in the middle, as in doing fine in their job, and then there'll be a few outliers who are doing really well and a few outliers who are doing really bad. In order for something to fit a bell curve, that has to be true. So even if everybody, literally every single person was right in the middle, they would have to push people out to the side. Or if literally everybody fit in this tiny bracket where everyone is excelling at their job, they did incredible, you'd still have to push them all the way back out. That's why bell curves are shit. Anyway, his managers were expected to do it. People who would end up on the developing status would have lower profit sharing bonuses, which is a large part of where developers make their money, is profit sharing, and could hamper them from receiving raises or promotions in the near future, even though they're doing their job. Just because I had to put some people on development, or on developing, like... How do you make that decision? It's very bad. So this is from Luke Plunkett. So Luke Plunkett works out of Australia, so they do not have these kind of horrible dystopian US working conditions, and he's like, what the fuck is this? You're telling me this company has implemented a system where 5% of its workforce, even if they're doing just fine, even if they're doing a great job, will be targeted and suffer financially just to meet a quota. Yeah, that's what they're saying. Anyway, Brian Birmingham was a co-developer, or co-lead developer rather, on World of Warcraft Classic, said, I'm done. I'm out. He wanted to make it clear that Blizzard themselves are not implementing these things. This is coming down from on high from Activision Blizzard King, who are like the parent company who own Activision, Blizzard, and King. The name might suggest. Reasons given by executive leadership were that it was important to squeeze the bottom-most performers as a way to make sure everybody continues to grow. So fear. That's what they wanted. They wanted fear. They wanted people to fear for their job. Anyway. Birmingham says, can't work under a system like this. Managers had managed to circumvent or skip for the last couple of years, but has now been, recently has begun to be enforced. He said that he was not happy about it, but shortly afterwards he was called into HR and then fired. So, yeah. I guess they're not going to change. They're happy enough to just let him go instead. An update from Kotaku is that there is a Twitter thread where Brian goes through kind of his, details about what exactly he felt about it. And there's actually a pretty decent history of the whole ownership of Activision Blizzard and how it changed from Vivendi over to Bobby Kotick, effectively, in a hostile takeover, which is not surprising in the slightest. Anyway. But we're not done. We're not done. What do you think we'd be done? Perennial bad guy. Of course, there's going to be 2 stories from them. Anyway, Blizzard Studio cans plans to unionize due to confrontational tactics. So, this is news from last week that Proletariat, which is, as I said at the time, very on the nose, that a company called Proletariat doesn't want to unionize, but okay, have dropped plans to form a union following confrontational tactics by its own CEO. Its own CEO has squashed attempts to unionize at a company called Proletariat. Brilliant. Fucking, you can't write this shit. Anyway, 57 staff members announced plans to form the Proletariat Workers Alliance. However, Proletariat CEO Seth Sivak chose to follow Activision Blizzard's lead and responded to the workers' desire to form a union with confrontational tactics. So this is coming from the Communication Workers of America union, who Proletariat were planning to unionize underneath. Like many founders, he took the workers' concerns as a personal attack and held a series of meetings that demoralized and disempowered the group, making a free and fair election impossible. They have had to stall indefinitely any attempts to unionize there, and perhaps some people at the company might be thinking, do I actually want to keep working here? Good job, CEO. Right. The day before has been delayed 8 months over alleged trademark issues. So normally delays and stuff I'd put in the updates section, but this is uniquely shitty and stupid. Anyway, so the day before is an zombie MMO thing that is pretty heavily wishlisted by a lot of people. The developer, Fantastic, said that Steam blocked our game page at the request of a private individual because of the name The Day Before. Allegedly, The Day Before was not trademarked. You idiots. Anyway, Fantastic says it wasn't aware of the existence of claims until January 19th of this year, when it received a complaint from the individual. The title's trademark was still available after the game was announced in 2021, and was then secured by the private individual before Fantastic could trademark it. So before they even went public with their game, they should have had it trademarked already. Standard practice. You don't wait until you announce it before you get the trademark. And then to say that before... hang on, is it Fantastic or Fanatic? Because it's both. Okay, it's Fantastic twice, so I'm going to go with that. Anyway, before they could trademark it, they had 5 months after the game's announcement where they didn't bother to trademark it. And whoever this private individual is swooped in and did it before them. You absolute dumbasses. Anyway, the game was originally slated to come out at the beginning of March. It's now going to be pushed to the middle of November. But that is not the only issue that the day before has had. So So the game has been in development for about 4 years, but previously they've attracted criticism because most of the developers are volunteers, which is another way to say slave labor. It's also been alleged that many following the game that there are a bunch of ripped assets in any of the gameplay assets and gameplay clips that have been shown off, which again, not good. So they don't pay their employees. They have asset flips, and they didn't trademark the name of their own game. This sounds like a big scam, guys. It sounds like a pretty big scam. Anyway, last one. This is going to be a quick one. This is mostly just Square Enix has shuttered yet another live service game. It's like they are going scorched earth here, and I don't know, they expect anybody to trust them with their money after this. But anyway, they've decided to shutter the services for Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai, A Hero's Bond, which I think is a Dragon Quest mobile MMO type Genshin Impact type thing. I think, I'm not sure. As far as I was aware, it was Japan only, but whatever. This is yet another title that Square Enix has shut down in the last year, so this brings it up to, I think it's more than what's listed here. But anyway, Mobius Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy VII The First Soldier, Babylon's Fall, Bravely Default, Marvel's Avengers, and now this, and I think there was one other, but I forget what it was. But yeah, why would anybody trust Square Enix with their money at this point? You shouldn't. That's the clue. Anyway. Alright, we're gonna finish off with something really, really stupid. So, this Fallout 4 realism mod makes introduction impossible to survive. So the idea is, this is sort of a joke on realism mods for video games. Is like, you know, you put in, oh, you need to eat and you need to drink and rest and what have you and that kind of thing. Survival mods, or realism mods. And he just went full with the realism thing and said, what if we put a realism mod in Fallout 4 and we're just like, you can't actually survive the opening of the game. Because if you don't know, a nuclear bomb is dropped right at the very beginning of Fallout 4 and somehow your character survives it. They wouldn't, obviously, if it was being realistic, so we'll skip ahead here a little bit. But here's the joke is that this is it. That's it. That's the end of the game. You get hit by a nuclear bomb and that's it. You're done. Mostly just a joke. I think the idea was to send it to your friends as a joke and don't tell them what it does. Just tell them the mod's really good and then it'll be funny. But yeah, that's pretty dumb. Anyway, we will leave Dead Space to play in the background. Rip to your characters. If you spent a lot of time making your character look exactly like somebody else and then you just died right in the opening, it'd be pretty funny. It does autosave though right there, so you could just, you know, delete the mod and start playing from there and you'd be fine. Anyway, so the developer direct was pretty short. It's still nothing really from, I suppose they count as first party now because Microsoft owns them. I was going to say nothing from first parties, but Microsoft actually owns them now, so I guess it is first party. Hi-Fi Rush looks interesting. I'm definitely looking forward to see that. Just stay on the character creation screen and live forever. Yeah, that'll work too. I'll just stare at my face for the rest of time. And my wife's face, I guess. Redfall, I'm still not entirely sure on. I don't know. I need to see it actually in action. I need to see... I've come across too many games that had a multiplayer co-op focus and developer to say you can totally play the game entirely single player, only for the single player to be extremely frustrating to play, like incredibly hard, in no way balanced, and so on. So I need to see gameplay of it before I'll believe them. The other 3 games I don't have any particular interest in, which is why I glossed over them. I would encourage you to go check out the video. It's pretty short. And just, I don't know, skip to the games you're actually interested in. Strayed Lights looked interesting. An Ikaruga type, which we haven't seen an Ikaruga style game in quite a while. And by that I just mean the game mechanic concept rather than as a shmup. It just seems to come and go. Sometimes it gets an audience, sometimes it doesn't. Most of the time it doesn't, because it's quite tricky. It's a very twitchy type of gameplay, which not everybody is into. And then new releases, Dead Space Remake, we will get to eventually. It'll be a while, because I am very deep in Resident Evil at the moment. And I'm going to be doing that all the way up until past the Resident Evil 4 remake, because we're going to play that too. And at that point, I think I'm going to want a break from survival horror. So we'll get the Dead Space remake eventually, because it looks incredible, but probably not anytime soon. So if you're waiting for me to play it, you're going to be waiting a while. Forspoken, as I said, we will take a look at next week, and we'll see what the deal is with that. Perennial bad guy Activision Blizzard King being the bad guy. Are we surprised? No, but... No, I think that's the issue. I am surprised that they actually did go with something that every other tech company said was stupid. Because they're so much about just copying everybody else. So I'm surprised that they kept it, to be honest. But because it's uniquely cruel, I suppose I shouldn't be shocked that they kept it. But anyway, the day before, this is either incredibly bad management or it's a scam. You know, it's hard to tell which exactly. And Square Enix shutting down yet another live service just says that they're done with live services, I think, is the idea here. They're just wrapping them all up. But they're doing some pretty bad damage to their reputation while doing it. Not great. And yeah, and then a stupid Fallout 4 mod that just kills you immediately is very funny and very dumb. Anyway, that is the news for this week. So what is happening on the channel? So... Well, Forspoken is, but that's not where I wanted to go. Here. So, here is our game roadmap mosaic thing for the first 6 months, at least, is what we're planning. So anyone who hasn't seen this before or isn't familiar with it, these are all the games that I am planning to feature on the channel up until the end of June, at least, and then it will change. Although, having said that, this changes also even in the middle, so take that with a grain of salt. If it has a green tick beside it, it's done on the channel. If it has a yellow kind of... What do you call that? It's not kebab. What's the opposite one? Anyway, 3 dots, it's in progress. If it has a grey clock, it's on its way. And if it has nothing on it, it'll be there eventually, just not right now. And one thing I have added, which was not there present last week, is this sort of gold corner on the side of it, or a yellow corner on the side of it. That just means it's a full Let's Play, is the plan. Anyway, that is the deal. So this week we finished The Curse of the Golden Idol. It was really good. It was really, really good. So The Curse of the Golden Idol is it's a puzzle game where you follow the fate of a family who comes into contact with the Golden Idol. It takes place over about 40 years or so. And the idea is it kind of plays a little bit like Return of the Obra Dinn. You are presented with a diorama of something happening, usually a murder, almost always a murder actually. And you have to decide who's present at the murder, who killed who, how do they do it, and this kind of stuff. So you're presented with like an ad-libs kind of thing, or a Mad Libs kind of thing, and you locate keywords in the scene and you drop them into different places. So it's a bit like Return of the Obra Dinn in that way. It was really good. I do feel it was a little too short, because I would have liked more scenes to mess around in, but oh well, I think that's a good thing. It's better for it to be too short than too long. Anyway, that's Return of the Obra Dinn. Oh no, that's the case of the Golden Idol. Anyway, moving on. We have started and are continuing Resident Evil 2, the remake from 2019. We got to very close to the end of Claire's scenario yesterday. Last night, we are at the lab. So this is a continuation of my Fully Plays Resident Evil series. We have played the director's cut of the original. We have played the original Resident Evil 2. Then Resident Evil 4 was announced, Resident Evil 4 Remake. So I went, well, shit. I'm gonna have to massively accelerate my plans, so we've skipped quite a few years, and we've moved on to the Resident Evil 2 Remake. My plan was to do the original Resident Evil 3, the original 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on, and then get our way back around to the modern remakes, but no, I've had to jump ahead. So we're going to play the Resident Evil 2 Remake. As I said, we're about halfway through. We'll finish Claire's, we'll move on to Leon's, and once that's done, we'll start playing the Resident Evil 4 original game, and hopefully I will finish that right enough in time for the Resident Evil 4 Remake, and we'll roll right into that, because I don't want to wait to play that. I want to play that right now, honestly. Anyway, that is the plan. We're going to be continuing to play that tomorrow. Wednesday, Ordinarily, Wednesday is when I do Foley Fables, but the Foley Fable I want to play doesn't actually come out until Friday, so we're going to have to wait. So instead, we're going to move Foley Plays Games for a bit, and we're going to do Foley Plays Forspoken for a bit. I have to stop myself from saying either Forsaken or Foreskin, because I have been saying both of them in my head, and one of them because I keep misremembering the name of the game, and one of them because I think it's a funnier name. But anyway, Forspoken, we're going to check out on Wednesday, as part of the Foley Plays Games for a Bit series, where we play games for about 2 hours, the first 2 hours or so of the game. And now that YouTube has moved on, okay, Thursday, we're going to be playing Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild as we continue again to try to get ready for a sequel. Tears of the Kingdom comes out at some stage in May, I think it's the end of May. So I never managed to finish Breath of the Wild. Like a lot of people I've been talking to and telling them that I'm streaming it now, they're like, yeah, I never finished it, actually. I only beat, like, the Divine Beast and then bumbled around for ages, and then something else came out and I played that instead. So I'm going to try to follow through with it and actually finish the game before Tears of the Kingdom comes out. We are still pretty early in the game. We defeated one Divine Beast. On Thursday, I'm going to start making our way towards our second Divine Beast, I think. But yeah, this one's a long-running Let's Play. It'll probably last all the way up until Tears of the Kingdom comes out. But anyway, we'll find out. And then Friday, as I said, Foley Fables. Foley Fables are when we play games that have a strong and pretty much only narrative focus. Walkie-talkies, you might say, or walking simulators, those kind of games. Not always. Sometimes we do puzzle-y based games as well, like The Excavation of Hobbs Barrow, which is a point-and-click adventure. Or The Case of the Golden Idol, which was also would have fallen into the realm of Foley Fables. So puzzle games, games that don't really take much actual effort from me, let's put it that way. So we're moving this to a Friday because the game actually launches on Friday. We played the original, Deliver Us the Moon, previously, if you want to check that out on the archive channel. Deliver Us Mars looks like they actually gave it a budget this time, as there's proper voice acting and actual animations and things like that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and we'll see how it turns out. But that is the plan for next week. So this is our schedule. We're going to be playing Resident Evil 2 Monday and Saturday, because I kind of need to double up on the Resident Evils to actually get it done before Resident Evil 4 Remake comes out. Wednesday, Foley Plays Forspoken for a bit. We'll play the first 2 to 3 hours of the game. From what I've been reading for reviews, we will probably have to do a part 2, because I think the first 2 hours of the game are nothing. It's not even tutorials. It's like setting up the story, kind of. So if it's anything like Death Stranding, the first 3 hours are just all cutscenes. And there's like 10 minutes of gameplay. So we'll probably have to do a part 2 of Forspoken at some point. Thursday, continuing Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. As I said, we'll start moving towards the second Divine Beast. I don't know which one yet. It'll either be the Goron or the Gerudo one. One of them. I'm not sure yet. I think I'll just flip a coin, to be honest. Deliver Us Mars, the sequel to Deliver Us the Moon. You are going off in search of these Ark ships that were supposed to be stationed on the moon. But when in the original game you got to the moon, you found that everybody had left and decided to just strand humanity on Earth with no power. So this is a big, like, climate apocalypse kind of thing happened on Earth. The moon was set up as this kind of massive energy collecting station from the sun. It would collect a bunch of energy and then shoot it back down to Earth. Something went wrong up on the moon. You were sent up to kind of figure out what's going on. You had to use a bunch of Earth's resources just to do that, so people were kind of pissed that you did it in the first place. But you got up there and found that, yeah, they just fucking abandoned you. They were like, fuck you, I'm out. They went to Mars to start a new civilization. So you're going to Mars to be like, what the fuck, dude? Anyway, that's kind of the gist of Deliver Us Mars. And then Saturday, Resident Evil 2, again, I don't think we'll finish it, but that is kind of my goal. It's kind of my goal to finish Leon's on Saturday. We might just have to make it a really long stream, but we'll see. And then Sunday, we'll be right back around to the Weekly News Recap, which is this show that you're watching right now. So that will be the plan for next week. So, words. Thanks, Banana, for hanging out in the chat with me. Sorry we got started a bit late. I think I might have been a bit late for some other people who wanted to jump in. If you were hanging out lurking in the stream, that's also, or yeah, hanging out lurking in the stream, that is also fine. No problem. You do not have to chat if you don't want to. I prefer if you did, but you don't have to. if you would like to catch up on any of the games I mentioned, you can check pretty much all of them, actually all of them, out on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/doomtrain5. If you are watching on YouTube, you can hang out in the chat with Banana and all sorts of other great people over on twitch.tv/doomtrain5. And you can hang out live and see me bumble about in Hyrule, almost killing myself trying to surf down a mountain with my shield. Anyway, we'll see how that goes. Right, I'm going to head off. No worries, Banana. Thanks for dropping in. I'm going to head off the rest of my day, and have a good one yourselves, and see you tomorrow for some more Resident Evil 2. Bye-bye. This button.